Good morning, my name is Jason Stepp. I'm with the company Stepp Manufacturing, and today we're going to go over the features and operations of the SPH 3.0, which is located behind me. I'm just going to give you a little company overview first. Our company was started in 1942. I'm actually a third generation Stepp. My grandfather started the company. We were a small machine shop welding shop, and we started in repair of the agricultural equipment, and then switched in the late 40s and 50s to asphalt maintenance repair, mainly in pothole patching equipment, crack sealing equipment, and also asphalt distributors to spray tack materials. The unit that we're going to talk about today is an SPH 3.0. It is a 4-ton capacity heated hot box to hold, store, and maintain temperature on a wide variety of asphalt products. So we're going to just kind of go through the operations, the way it's built, show you why we do what we do, and we'll go from there. We're going to start with the construction of the unit. One of the things that we do at Stepp Manufacturing, it's a little different than some of our competitors. We build extra heavy duty options and apparatus into our trailers. One of the things you'll notice, we use all tubing steel. It's 3/16 2x6 frames on all of our trailers, from everything from the small 2-ton single axle unit all the way up to the 3-ton unit that the 4-ton unit that we're talking about today, the 3 cubic yard hopper. We use a heavy duty gusseted hitch plate that is adjustable. I believe the adjustment's from 19 to 34 inches. So you do have a lot of adjustments. There are hitch extensions available if you're pulling them with bigger dump trucks, as an optional piece of equipment. One of the things that you'll find on all Stepp Manufacturing's trailers is we do put a VIN tag with our serial number. And you'll also see on a couple places on the trailer we actually have 3 tire tags. Now this is a DOT requirement when you CVI the trailers. The CVI stands for Commercial Vehicle Inspections. And some of the things that we've put into this unit have made your inspectors and the guys getting the inspections done very easy to do. One of the things that we do is it's a graded and stamped chain. We use an eye bolt. There's no welded safety chains on the unit. You'll notice the conspicuousy tape that's located on all the trailers that are 10,000 pounds and heavier. We've got that located all around the unit per DOT federal motor vehicle regulations. So again, the tire tag information is tires that are installed in this unit. It is kind of nice too that you have the ability to, instead of looking on the tire, it's going to tell you your PSI, what your tire is, what the load rating is, and it's located on the frame and then on both fenders also. The next thing we're going to talk about is our towing hookup. There's a couple things that are important for this. Obviously, our trailer plug hooks up to our truck to supply our lights. The other thing that's very important about our wiring system is the unit's equipped with electric brakes and automatic temperature controls to run the burner system. Need to have a supply of power. Now we get our supply of our power for our burner system and our controls via the 12-volt Group 24 automotive battery that we install in these units. We do that through the truck, and on this particular unit it's got its own separate wire. Depending on which plug you have, it may be wired into the plug, but we take the 12-volt.
Hold it still so I can zoom in on that. Okay.
We take the 12-volt power out of the towing vehicle to supply power to the battery. And again, we do that for a couple reasons. This particular unit's equipped with electric brakes, and it does have an electric breakaway, so that if the trailer, which is located right here, if the trailer becomes disconnected from the towing vehicle, it locks up the brakes. Alright, our breakaway system is here, so this would connect to your towing vehicle also. So that connects to your towing vehicle. In the case of the trailer becomes disconnected, the hitch breaks or whatever, for whatever reason, which we hope never happens, it does lock up the brakes on the trailer. That does it via the battery that's located on the unit. So you need 12-volt power on an electric brake situation to lock that up. Now we use a Group 24 marine starting battery. Now you'll notice we've got a couple things going on in front of our battery box. This is something that I always like to talk about, and the mechanics really like this because if they have trailers, I'm sure that they've had to replace trailer cables before. We actually wire a terminal strip into the front of the battery box for our wiring harness. So our wiring comes in from the truck to our wiring terminal here, and then it goes out to the rest of the unit where we need power. Now you'll also notice that there's a little metal thing in here. This is actually a self-resetting breaker, so that if for some reason your battery is really low and it's pulling too much power, it's going to trip the breaker. We don't use any fuses in the system, just for that simple reason that the self-resetting breaker, it trips. As soon as it cools down, it resets itself. One of the things you'll notice on all Stepp Manufacturing's equipment is we don't use any crimp connectors. All the connectors on the unit are either a soldered connector with heat tape or tape around the end of it, or they're a WeatherPack quick connector like this one. This particular connector is. Now the WeatherPack, I'm just going to pull this one apart to show you, has a sealed rubber plug on here so that we can't get any moisture infiltration into the plug itself. Now even on the WeatherPack connectors, which are a quick connector item, and you're going to see these from time to time on the unit on replaced parts that you may have to replace in the future, you know, due to mechanical failure or just getting old and wore out. We make it simple so it's easy to replace that part. Now even the pins that are inside here are still soldered to the wire, so you're not going to run into any problems with corrosion or you know, a poor crimp in the wiring system. So everything that we do electrically is either sealed. You can notice that we use heavy-duty wire cables instead of loom and single-strand wires. This is all stuff that we do to make the Stepp Manufacturing equipment last for many, many years. Now we're going to talk next about the burner and the fuel tank and how the burner operates in this particular unit. But before I do that, I want to show you a couple things on this unit. We actually build these units with the option of you guys, you the end user, adding optional apparatus after you purchase it. Now you'll notice there's a big space in the frame here. The space gets filled up if you guys end up going with the 40-gallon optional tack tank. Now you can get the tack tanks heated LP, you can get them heated with diesel. There is also optional electrical overnight heaters available for the tack tank. If you get the optional tack tank, that is mounted in this location here. And if you happen to get the optional tack tank with the spraying system, the engine would get mounted over the fuel tank, and then there would also be a hydraulic tank added also. If you're interested in the tack tank system, please give us a call. We can send you some pictures and information on it. This particular unit does not have the optional tack tank on it, but it is available. Other options that are available for this area is we also do have a front platform. The front platform is bolted onto the frame. It has a step and it also has a rail, so there's protection so that the operator doesn't fall off of the unit. The platform is a grip strut, you know, non-skid, non-slip surface so that it's safe for the operator, especially the guys with asphalt on their shoes. You always got to have something that really grips good. We actually use a dimpled grip strut type material on our platform. The platform is also available with the optional 40-gallon tack tanks, and you can get the platform and the tack tank if desired. So there's many options that are available for these units. We're going to talk about some of them, most of them today. But right now we're going to talk about the burner system and the fuel tank. All the units have a 25-gallon fuel tank, and on this particular unit, the burner does not necessarily need a tremendous amount of fuel each day. Just like with any diesel apparatus, it's a good idea not to run the unit out of fuel, because if you do run it out of fuel, you do have to bleed the burner system out. But we put a 25-gallon tank on here so that you don't have to worry about running it out. You got days and days of service with these hot boxes because we're not burning a lot of fuel to maintain the temperature. Now in this particular unit, it is equipped with a diesel burner. We're going to go over how that whole diesel burner works in just a minute. But this particular burner has a 3/4 of a gallon per hour nozzle in it. So what that relates to is if that burner runs for an hour, it's going to burn 3/4 of a gallon of fuel. So you can see it doesn't burn a lot of fuel. 25 gallons is plenty to get through many days. The unit itself will heat up to about 350 degrees in about 15 or 20 minutes. So it doesn't take a long time to get it hot. Once you get your products hot, they don't require a lot of temperature to stay hot. We're just maintaining the temperature. So on an average day, you maybe burn 4 or 5 gallons of fuel a day. Now, a lot of that depends on how cold your outside temperature is. If it's windy, if we're using hot mix material or cold mix material, a little bit of that all depends on how much fuel you're going to burn. But it's safe to say that you're never going to go through 25 gallons of fuel in a day or even 2 days. If this thing burns non-stop, it would be hard to do that. So again, it's 25-gallon fuel tank. The burner doesn't care if it burns a number 2 diesel fuel, a number 2 diesel blend, or a number 1 kerosene. The burner itself doesn't care. Now, if you do run a kerosene versus a number 2 or a blended fuel, you may have to make some minor adjustments on the burner. There's an air-fuel mixture that you have to maintain there. Now, we have had some experiences with the biofuels. Biofuels up to B2 burn fine in these units. When you start to get over B5, you start to get into some firing issues with the cold weather. So if you are going to use a biofuel, if you're getting into real cold weather operation, and when I mean cold weather operation, 20 degrees and below, you may want to look at a blended fuel for that time of year. The biofuels will work, in warmer climates, but the biofuels have a tendency of gelling up much easier than the regular diesel fuels do in the cold weather operations, and that in turn means harder time firing. Similar problems that you're going to have in your trucks. If your trucks sit outside with biofuel in it, they don't start very good either. Same thing with the diesel fired hoppers. We're gonna go over a couple of things on the burner system. The burner, or the fuel tank, does have a manual service valve here. You're going to leave that valve on all the time unless you need to service the fuel filter. The fuel filter is located here. This particular unit has 1 burner, so it has 1 fuel filter. Now, if it had a tack tank with a burner on it, it would have 2 fuel filters. We put a fuel filter on for each burner system that we have. The fuel filter is it's a General is the brand name of it. It's a very common fuel filter. We do stock them, and in the manuals there are part numbers and part breakdown, and you can call our service department anytime to get filters or replacement parts on these units. Alright, again, we'll just go over the components of the burner. Your 12-volt motor. Inside of the housing of the motor, there's a squirrel cage fan. Your fuel pump is located over here. This green thing in the back, and I know it's a little hard to see, is your fuel solenoid. And then you've got, this is what I wanted to talk about now, this is your bleeder valve. If for some reason you run this unit out of fuel, or you rip a fuel line off, or something happens and you have to bleed the burner out, it's just a 3/8 wrench, and it's just a little pitcock. You open it, you have to turn the switch on in the back to cycle the burner, and what you'll notice is it'll spit and sputter and foam, and until you get a good steady stream of fuel, you're not bled out. Once you bleed that out, generally the burner kicks off, takes off and lights, and burns and runs just fine. On top of the bleeder, you'll see another screw. This is your fuel pressure. This shouldn't be ever adjusted unless it's done by a trained technician. Your burner needs to run between 100 and 140 psi. To get your burner set, they come factory preset. Usually about 120 is where we normally factory set them. But you do have to put a pressure gauge in the top here to really verify what pressure you're running. The other thing I like to talk about is there's 2 air adjustments, and again, this is something that should just be done by the mechanics. It's something, once you get it set, it should be set for years of service. But if you do run into different climates and different temperatures, if you're running the machine and it's 100 degrees out versus running the machine when it's 10 degrees out, you may have to adjust the air. There's 2 air adjustments. There's one here, a screw for this outer band, this big band, and then there's one screw on the side of the unit for your fine air adjustment. Now, on the SPH premix heaters, they don't need a lot of air because we're firing with such a small nozzle. We're firing with that 3/4 of a gallon an hour nozzle, which equals 105,000 BTUs. It doesn't take a lot of air to supply that. this burner is capable of up to 490,000 BTUs with just a nozzle switch, more air, and more fuel. So those, that burner is very versatile, that we can go from 105 all the way up to almost 500,000 BTUs with just some minor changes. But in the premix heaters, we set them with 3/4 of a gallon nozzle, very little air needed to get them fired. And that's kind of the burner system in a nutshell there. If you do have technical questions or need more service information on the burners, they are located in the manuals, and you can also call our service department at any time, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and he can work through some of those problems. The next thing I want to talk about in here that doesn't get a lot of recognition from our customers is behind this burner system we fire into the hopper. Now we actually fire into what we call a stainless steel diffuser. The stainless steel diffuser does a couple of things. It transfers heat into different directions of the different parts of the hopper. It also prevents the floor from burning out. Now the stainless steel diffuser, to access it, you have to pull the burner. There's 4 bolts to pull the burner and the burner cover off. And then you'll notice the flange on the back. If you pull those bolts, you can pull the whole burner, the heat diffuser out of the system, out of the hopper to inspect it. Now we strongly recommend that once a year you at least pull the burner, stick a flashlight in there, make sure that stainless steel diffuser hasn't become so deformed that we're not getting heat through there. General rule of thumb, when the heat diffuser has run its life, usually your burner doesn't fire right, or you're not getting heat transfer on both of the sides evenly. But we strongly recommend that you just pull the burner once a year and visually inspect in there, make sure there's no carbon buildups, or make sure that stainless steel diffuser is still in good shape. That's a replaceable part. They're a couple $100. It prevents your floor from burning out on the unit. So it's something you do want to take a look at. Now, just something for 2009 that we put into these units is the stainless steel floor. And we did that in conjunction with the stainless steel diffuser to prevent floor burnouts. Now, and when we move to the back of the unit, I'm going to show you that stainless steel floor. We're the only ones in the industry to offer it. Again, if you don't ever replace that stainless steel diffuser and that burns out, you've got a 1/4 inch stainless steel floor that's going to last many, many years, much longer than any of the carbon steel floors are gonna last. And we'll show you that and go over that in just a little bit. While we're up here, the last thing or the other things I want to talk about while we're up here, our top doors. And again, for 2009, we came out with a new top door system. You'll notice the old pipe handles are gone. Some of the other competitors in our industry still use the pipe handles. Stepp Manufacturing looked at that and said, God, that's a finger pincher. We're going to try to figure out some better way of opening these doors. So we actually came up with a gas-operated, gas-assist top loading door. Now this gas-assist shock does a couple of things. It takes about 60-65% of the weight of the top door off the operator and makes it so that any size operator can open the door. We had some smaller operators that were too short, not enough weight to get those top doors open. Well, by doing the gas assist top door, it's a one-handed operation. It opens very easily. Smaller individuals can open the doors. The other big thing that we changed is the handles. The doors are actually locked in the down position, and they're also locked in the up position. Now you'll see we got some rubber straps. The doors do blow open an inch or two, so we just put the rubber straps on there. It's just another thing to make you feel better about the doors not blowing open. But you'll notice all of our doors are pitched at quite an angle so that they do, the moisture runs off them. If they get stored outside, you're not going to have a hopper full of rain. The other reason we pitch them is 90% of your heat loss out of anything is out the top. We all know that heat rises. So we actually use a closed cell polyurethane foam insulation on our top doors. 1 inch equals R9. So you guys can see we've got more insulation on our top doors than we do in the whole rest of the unit. The unit is insulated with 2 inches of high temperature fiberglass insulation, so the unit is also well insulated, but the top doors are especially well insulated. And we do this again just to help prevent our heat loss. Now when our burner fires into the bottom of that hopper, it wraps up around the sides, goes through our center heat divider, and actually we exhaust our exhaust gases on top of the material that we're heating inside there. We do that for a couple reasons. Number one, we can get more efficiency out of our burner. We're just reusing some more of that heat, that exhaust gas. It prevents the top of the material from getting hard and crusty and bridging. Excuse me. And it also, we exhaust to the top covers, and it also exhausts away from the operator. So you don't have any hot exhaust stack sticking out the front. It actually dumps that exhaust on top of the mix, heats the top of the mix, you know, and then slowly, you know, exhausts out of the top of the covers. So you don't have any hot blasting hair coming anywhere out of the unit. And again, that's one thing that's very unique to Stepp Manufacturing's design on their hot box. I'm going to show you how the top doors operate. They do operate very easily. You can see you just pull the door handle out and the door locks in the out position. Now you can see it's easy one-handed operation. The door locks in the closed position over here. You know, so the door is locked. It can't fall down even if they drop a load of material or anything on it. Again, I'm going to show you the operation of that, and then we're going to change camera angles. Again, very easy to open. The door will open without the gas assist shock. It's just a lot heavier. So if the gas shock wears out or they break one or hit it with the loader or whatever, you can still open the door without the gas shock. It's just a little bit heavier. We're going to change camera angles again and you know, just show you how that door opens from a different angle. And again, to pull the handle down, it's down and it's in the lock position. The door cannot blow open. So this is the general fuel filter here. To replace the fuel filter, you loosen this nut out up here and the bottom drops out. It's a felt filter with also a screen in it. Next, we're going to talk about the diesel burner. This particular unit's equipped with a diesel fired burner. The hoppers themselves are all the same for diesel fired or propane fired in the direct fire systems. This particular unit's fired by diesel, 12 volt forced air Beckett burner. These burners are very similar to a furnace that you would have in your house. The only thing that's really different about this burner system is that it's 12 volt. You know, so it's got a 12 volt motor instead of a 110 volt motor, which you would have in your, you know, in the household use. This particular unit's got the optional burner enclosure. I'm going to pop that off so we can kind of see how this thing fires. Well, I got to get the keys off. The diesel burner has a couple things going on here. You'll see this main box up here. This is what we call primary control. The primary control on the unit is the brain box of the burner. This is what tells the burner when to start the igniters, when to turn the fuel pump on, when to turn the blower on. This main brain box does everything that this burner really needs to have. Now this is a replacement part, so again, you'll see the weather pack connector on there, so it's easy to replace. It takes about 5 minutes to replace that. These burner systems are very, very good burner systems. They do have, we're required, and all the burner systems are required to have a flame out protection device. Again, this main control box, or this primary control, also senses the flame. So when the burner goes to light, it lights. You know, and when it lights, it turns the motor on to turn the fan on, and turns the fuel pump. It tells the solenoid to open and allow fuel to go into the chamber. And then on the top here, this is actually our transformer. This is our igniter. This tells the sparkers to start sparking. Once it does that and it lights, there's actually an eye. It's called a CAD cell eye that's located inside the burner, and it actually sees the flame. Once it sees the flame, it sends a signal back to the control box to say, hey, life is good, we're lit, you can shut the igniters off, and you can keep the fuel coming, keep burning. If that CAD cell doesn't see flame, then it actually tries for reignition, starts the igniters again, and if it doesn't light in 10 seconds, then it actually locks the burner out, shuts everything down. That's its safety device. So it doesn't see flame, it shuts itself down. To reset it, you actually have to go into the back and turn the power switch off and back on to reset the burner system. And we'll go over that in a little bit also. A couple other things that you need to know about inside the burner. Again, primary control, ignition transformer, electric motor, there's a fan, your fuel pump, and the solenoid is located in the back. One thing I always talk about is if you do run it out of fuel, you do need to bleed it. And we're going to change camera positions here so you can see this a little better, and we'll kind of go over that. Again, how our door handle works: you pull the door assembly out, it locks in the up position, you open the door, and it locks in the open position. When we go to unlock it, you just pull the lever and it unlatches the handle. So all we're doing is locking the handle. The handle's in there with a pin. There's a greaser on the handle to keep things free that you do need to keep some grease in. And again, it locks in the closed position. All of our doors are mounted with pillow block bearings. You'll notice that there's a very little offset. We've engineered that door so that it closes tight to prevent the heat loss out of the top of the unit. And again, they're a well insulated door. The next thing we're going to talk about is our trailer shackle system. We use a Dexter high-speed axle. This particular unit has two 7,000 pound axles with a 14,000 pound GVWR on the unit. One of the things that's very unique about Stepp Manufacturing is we do not use the Dexter axle manufacturer's shackle system. We did for many years. This is a heavy trailer when it's loaded. You've got 4 ton of mix. The trailer is about 4,000 pounds. So you do the math, you got 12,000 pound trailer real quick. That's a heavy trailer, just to give you guys an idea of what it relates to. Big, heavy Bobcat in a Bobcat trailer. So it's heavy, so you got a lot of weight. We actually manufacture our own shackle system. It's a one-piece bolt-on shackle that's located right here. You can see it's bolted onto the frame rails. It's a 1/4 inch thick. It's a heavy duty. The shackles, and I should have brought one for the video. The shackles that used to come with the axle used to be about 3.5 inches wide by about 4 inches tall. So it's just this little strap that the axle mounted to. Well, getting that welded on straight and perfect was almost near impossible. Even with jigs, it was very time consuming. And then if you ever wore out a shackle, you had to get the cutting torch and the welder out. Where now, if you ever do wear out a shackle, it's a one-piece bolt-on thing. Get the wrenches out, you can take it off, it's sandwiched. That particular shackle is actually manufactured by Stepp Manufacturing. It's welded on a robotic welder, so there's no human error in there. It's a very heavy-duty aspect of our equipment. The other thing you can see back here is we have a bolt-on fender. Bolt-on fender is still strong enough to stand on. It's not flimsy or weak. We're gonna go move around and I'm gonna show you the axles or the tires, and then we're going to go over the control system. We equip our units with a wet hub axle. It just uses an 80-90 weight oil. We use a 16-inch radial tire, something that we switched to again in 2009. 16-inch radial tire, very easy to get replacement tires for. It's a common truck tire. We're going to go over the controls a little bit here, and again, our stainless steel pan. One thing you'll notice on our stainless steel pan is we actually put heat out onto the outside of the pan. Again, we're just reusing that exhaust heat. Our guillotine style doors again have a gas shock operated. One of the things you'll see in different literature is they have 2 or 3 position locks. We can have infinite position locks with the gas shock. Again, our slope floor, you'll notice everything funnels down right to the right to where the shovel fits. One of the things that Stepp Manufacturing has designed is there's the back of the hopper. Some of the other units in the industry are built like a square box. The material has a tendency of burning in the front. Here, our material sloped right to the back end of the unit. We do have an optional shovel cleaning compartment for your environmentally friendly release agents, to keep your shovels clean. It does have a drain plug on the bottom. This particular unit also has a roller carrier for a small Vibco vibratory roller. Other options that we do have available are plate compactor lifts, Hudson sprayer holders, things like that are all optional equipment. Again, our wiring is wired into a sealed junction box in the back of the unit. All the wiring going in is sealed. All the wire connectors are soldered and protected with a shrink wrap. The controls of the unit, very simple to operate. We've got a main power switch, which turns the burner on. There's your burner firing. You can hear it's not very loud. Doesn't take very long. You have two readings. The top reading is actually what we're reading, the temperature of the material. The bottom reading is actually what we're set at. You can change the temperature for the different desired materials with just the up and down arrow. That's all you really need to know. The other three buttons don't really do anything on the thermostat. They're actually for the programming of the thermostat itself. So as an operator, the only thing that you need to know is the up and down arrow. It's pretty simple. If you can run a thermostat in your house, you can run a thermostat on the Stepp hot box unit. We do put a voltmeter in here. That tells us if we have good, clean supply of voltage. And you know, it's going to tell you when your burner's running. You can see it pulls quite a bit of voltage to run that burner system. You've got a call for heat light, and again a resetting breaker in there. No fuses in the system. So I'm going to turn the burner off. And this is going to conclude our video on the Stepp SPH 3.0. Before we conclude the video, I do want to show you the inside of the unit. There's a couple footprints in here, but it at least shows you how the hopper's designed and shaped. You can see everything funnels down into the back discharge doors. We do run that center heat riser in here. That helps us for a couple things. If you're using a lot of cold mix material, it does put heat into the center of the hopper. We exhaust there. We also exhaust again onto the top of the mix to prevent that from cooling off and bridging on the top. We're going to have the cameraman just pan down and show you how the floor slopes down in here right to the discharge doors. This unit is equipped, it's ready for electric overnight heat. This particular unit does not have it. If you get the electric overnight heat, you'll see the plates there get removed. There's actually two tubes that get mounted into the bottom of the unit, or into the middle of the unit, for your electric overnight heaters for your cold mix material. This concludes our video of the SPH 3.0. We'd like to thank you guys for watching this. I hope it was informational. If there's something that we missed, or there's something that you have questions about, like our fancy tool holders here that hold lutes and shovels, but if there's things that you need more information on, service-related questions, technical questions on how the unit's built, please feel free to call us at 651-674-4491. or visit our website at www.steppmanufacturing.com. Thank you again, and we look forward to and appreciate your business. Thank you.